Okay, this is Andy Davis with the Clatsop County Democrats. I'm here with Michael Hinton, running for the Sunset Empire Parks and Recreation District Board. Welcome, Michael, and thank you for running. We're happy to have you today. Let me start with the first question, which is, can you just tell us a bit about yourself and what kind of experiences and expertise you're bringing to the table for the rec district?
Well, I appreciate that. I've lived here in the Clatsop County and in Seaside since 1995. And not long after being here, I didn't really know anyone but my own family that was living here already, and noticed opportunities to start volunteering. I figured that would be a good way to get to know the community. And I volunteered. The first thing I signed up for was the Commission on Children and Families, which was funded at that time. And having children of my own, I have 5 children. I've had a background, in construction. I've had a background in recreation from personal experience and use. I've been inspired by the San Francisco Park and Recreation Department, which is a fantastic system of parks and programming. Anyway, I became acquainted with the Park and Recreation District, kind of through the Commission on Children and Families indirectly, because of their interest in youth development and health and wellness programming. I discovered that the Seaside City Parks had several parks, but they did not have programming. They didn't have summer camps or after school activities or, childcare or recreational opportunities. And I was kind of attracted to them. And I'm a practicing artist. I have a Master of Fine Arts degree from the San Francisco Art Institute. So I was interested in the arts, and I began teaching a ceramics class for Young at Art, which was for preschool age children. And that engaged me more with the park district. And I started monitoring the gyms, which we leased from the Broadway Middle School district, which, we've done for many years. I did teach art. I have an interest in art. I did teach at the community college art center for about 5 years. And I'm one of the founding members of the Clatsop County Cultural Coalition, which is a facet of the Oregon Cultural Trust here. And it helps enable funding for many underserved areas of the community in the arts and heritage. I've been proud of that. I was appointed by the county commissioners to start that process, and myself with Ann Schaefer and Claudia Harper began to work in a committee fashion to develop bylaws and a process for issuing grants throughout the community. That was a big part of my involvement, partly from being with the college. I have, got involved with the budgetary process with the county through the Commission on Children and Families with the biennial budget, state budget. I've advocated for youth funding for after-school programs. Mary Blake and I have took kids on buses to the state capitol and lobbied for funding for after-school programs. A lot of neat things. We've advocated for the skate park that was built here in Seaside, which is a world-class skate park. I'm proud of what the park district had done with that. Anyway, I got on the board. I broke my leg while I was teaching the ceramics class for these children, and I did not break it working at the park district, but on a construction site. So I had to stand down from some of my activities at that time. But I continued to work with the Park District, and there was a vacancy on the board. And in 2001, I was appointed to the Park District Board. I've been serving on that board for about 19 years. Been involved in most all facets of the district, except for being internet technology, which is not my area of expertise. But with programming and funding and community representation, I've had a strong presence. We've had, perfectly balanced books. We've never had a problem financially during my tenure. In fact, we've gotten really good audits the last few years, and we are on solid financial footing at this time.
Michael, can I ask you? I might prompt you to segue to the next question, which is really in your case, it's why would you be running for this position again, and what kind of things do you want to accomplish on the board in the next term?
That's a very important question to be answered. I have decided to run again because of the changes in the board in the last year. We had 4 resignations from the board since last January. And for different reasons, there wasn't a lot of transparency on some of the reasons for those resignations, but we've had change on the board. We've had some great appointments, and we have a young board right now. We have some great people, and I felt that if I would try to offer my leadership and my past experience to move forward, especially now. We've been facing a lot of contention from some community members over the acquisition of the old Broadway Middle School, which now we call the Sunset Recreation Center. And we're in a process now to try and evaluate what programs we can promote at that facility. It's a much bigger facility than we need. We don't need all of that facility. So we're looking at ways to either collaborate or co-invest with appropriate partnerships to develop the rest of the property. It's entirely possible that we may decide to partition the property and sell part of it. But we're interested in that area. We have our farmers market there, which is one of our more significant special events. We like that location. The city is on property that we currently own now with the Broadway Middle School. And I think the city is interested in working with us to maintain their presence. And we are also very interested in working with them. The school district is using the locker rooms right now for fall sports and the football teams and the soccer teams and the spring baseball. The COVID has been a real challenge for us. And emerging from COVID, I think we need a real solid team going forward to work with the community to maintain this newly acquired indoor recreation space, especially the 2 gyms and the classrooms we have now available for youth programs are very needed. And that was expressed in 2014 through a community process, a charrette, or very interactive communication with everyone in the community, and people came from all over the county. And we learned that we needed more indoor recreation space because of our kind of volatile winter that we have, seasonally. So I think the middle school issues need to be settled. It is a big nut to crack, but we have just done a supplemental budget because of the acquisition of the middle school, and we have about $500,000 sitting there right now, which in the budget to go forward with as we plan, look at the highest best use of the property. We have issued a request for proposals to get consultation and guidance on how best to approach the use of these properties.
Okay.
Right now, it's a wonderful building. It's been cleaned up since the school district abandoned it several years, a couple of years ago, it seems. And meaning that, COVID really caused the early shutdown of the middle school. And we're trying to, rebuild public confidence in the district. We want them to know that our pool is safe. We've had, public health inspections. Our pool is perfectly safe and extremely clean. I get comments from visitors and users alike about how nice the facility is. I am concerned by some critics who make irresponsible suggestions that there is endangerment to our youth at the SRC, which is just, I just can't tell you how erroneous those comments are. But we have the areas of the school that we're using are perfectly safe and asbestos free. We know that there are problems there that need to be mitigated, and they will be dealt with in the course of our planning, and development. We will do whatever needs to be done, depending on, like I said, what we do with the other half of the building. Mostly the west wing of the building is the area of the building, that half, which is zoned commercially, will very likely, very good chance that portions of that would be demolished or mediated. So I expect to see the end of steam heat at some point with and update our energy systems. We have roofing systems that need to be addressed that have been deferred for many years. So I'm staying on the board. I'm trying to stay on the board because to offer some continuity for the future of the district.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. So we're going a bit over on time, so I might ask the next question if we can keep the timing down a little bit, but I'll ask, in the past 4 years, what do you think the district and board could have done better? What might you change?
Well, what we could have done better, I think at times we could use a little bit more, outreach and community communication. I think we're doing a pretty good job, but I think there's always something that can be done to a greater extent. I'm not sure specifically. I think basically, a lot of what could be done better would be the management of board business and the board of directors. We'd like to see more decorum, and we've issued, rules for decorum at our meetings, which is for public comment, but it is also for the behavior of our directors. Board behavior has been questioned in the past, and there is some explanation for the resignations based on that. So we know that the national leadership has set a very poor tone in recent years, and there's been a kind of a contagion amongst some people to speak brashly and harshly and irresponsibly at times. I'd like to see the interpersonal relationships on the board stay the way they are, which are generous and considerate. And as far as what we've done, I don't know. We can't do too much better, except to find ways to build programs that the children and families need. We would like to do some more work with our foundation to increase funding for scholarships and these scholarship grants for families who struggle for program fees or need help with after school programs for their kids, or preschool for that matter.
Okay, Michael, I might ask, do you have any closing comments that haven't been covered yet?
Well, just as a registered Democrat, you know, I don't really feel that this is a very partisan issue. I think it's a broad-based issue. It doesn't matter what your persuasion is. I just hope we can go forward and continue our collaboration in a community with the city and the county and the park district. We have wonderful partners with the hospital, the Providence Hospital, particularly, as we kind of, you know, try to encourage people to have healthy lifestyles and have opportunities to recreate and enjoy themselves and their families in a safe setting.
Okay. Well, I want to say again, thank you for joining us today, Michael, and thank you for running again and for your continued desire to do community service. We very much appreciate the involvement of yourself and the other board members who step up to do these jobs.
Thank you, Andy.